Hey guys, how's it going? Hope everybody's doing well out there today. Recently, a new app was brought to my attention called PhotoPrism, and this was brought up over in Discord. So if you guys are interested in new project ideas or joining a community, definitely check out Discord. I'll try to have that linked in the description down below. But basically, like I said, PhotoPrism was brought to my attention, and I thought in today's video I would kind of do a quick demonstration of it and then also show you how to install it on Docker. So here we are on my desktop, and this is PhotoPrism's demo website. And basically you can kind of see how everything's broken down here by year. For some reason, 2017 got jacked up to the front there, but stuff happens. But basically, you can come into any of these galleries and open them up. Looks like there was just one picture in that particular gallery there, or for that particular month or whatever. This has not a cat. But basically, we can come into any of these and see what pictures are available in each of these different categories. Here's a picture of a truck that somebody uploaded or took, I guess, in 2019 in Vancouver. Looks like their server's running really, really slowly. I apologize for that. So let's kind of keep looking around here. So basically, let's go back to the homepage. I guess that is the homepage. Let's go over here to albums. Maybe we can get an idea of what's going on over here in albums. It's thinking. I like that there's a progress bar at the top in this blue up here to let you know that it's thinking. And basically we can see that these are broken down by different categories: Berlin, California, birds, flowers. You get the idea here. And each one of these also has some text under it saying how many entries there are in each of these albums. Of course, from there you can also come over here and take a look at videos. There's a little pop-up down there, and I don't know what it was. Maybe that's why their server's running so slowly here. But let's see if I can play this. There won't be any sound here, and that's fine. But wow, this is their server is super slow. So you kind of get the idea of what PhotoPrism is, and they've actually done a really good job of documenting their install process, both on their website as well as on their GitHub. And I want to kind of take a look at both of those things here. So if we come over to their website, there's a whole area of features where you can see that they've got, basically it runs everywhere. It's got smart search. It's got maps and places based on the metadata that your camera or your phone or whatever attaches to each of your individual pictures or videos or whatever. You can share if you want to set up sharing. You could put this on a domain name if you wanted to and share that way, or if you wanted to risk your IP address getting out there, you could do that as well. There are remote access clients. You can actually attach an app for your phone to this and back up your photos that way. Again, like it says, metadata information, duplicate detection, raw image support, and of course, they've got a roadmap to tell you what's coming up next. So let's scroll back up to the top. Of course, we already looked at the demo. They do have a partners page. As far as PhotoSync, that's the app that I was talking about. PhotoMap might be a cool one to look at as well. Looks like that one is only available on Google Play, though. Over here on GitHub, if we just jump right over to here, this is where it would have taken us if I clicked that link directly. But right here is their GitHub page, and they've actually done, like I said, a really good job of documenting everything. In fact, they've even got 3 different versions of a Docker Compose that you could use if you wanted to go a different route. So you've got a standard Docker Compose here that's got the services. It's actually got Caddy built into it if you wanted to use that as your reverse proxy. So it's got PhotoPrism in there. It's got a Maria database for that. Looks like it's also got a WebDAV dummy, and it's going to create some volumes. So that's built and ready to go as it stands. There's an option for a Postgres database in here as well with a lot of the same information. And then they've got a drone, which I haven't really looked at too awful much, but it's got a lot more information in here as far as additional environmental variables that you could use if you wanted to go that particular route. However, we're not going to do any of that. So I definitely will encourage you to look at their Docker, or at their GitHub page rather. It will be linked in the description down below. Definitely check this out and get an idea of what your options are. I will say though that if you want to deploy one of these Docker Compose files, what you'll actually want to do is SSH into your server and then do a git clone and then do a Docker Compose up and then choose which of these Docker Compose files you want to use. Because there are some things in there that require building, like we can see right here at the top. It's got that build in there, and in order for that to work, you'll need the Docker file and all of that kind of thing. So make sure that if you use one of these, or you want to use one of these Docker Compose files, that you do a git clone of the repository and deploy that Docker Compose file that way. However, we're going to go ahead and close that, and we're going to come over here to their docs, and this is actually what we're going to take a look at here. This is Windows compatible as well as Mac and Linux, and there are little caveats for each of those in their respective areas. So basically what I'm going to do is come down to right here where it says Step 1, Configure. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, and I'm going to jump into my SSH client over here. I'm using Windows Terminal. Because I know you guys hate PuTTY for some reason, but I'm logged in as root, so I'm just going to go ahead and right click and paste, and it's gone ahead and got that Docker Compose file for me, so I can do a nano docker compose.yml, and then let's go ahead and make this a bit bigger so we can take a look at what all is going on in here. Again, this is well documented. I love that they've done such a good job of documenting this as far as different commands that you can run, that sort of thing. Again, we've got a ton of stuff down here. By default, it's going to use port 2342. You can change that if you need to for whatever reason. You can set your, you'll actually want to come into here. This PhotoPrism admin password, you should change that because that's the password that you're going to use to log in to the back end of your instance. There are limits for megabytes of size for pictures and video. There's compression methods, debug, public. Do you want this to be publicly available? Yes or no. If you don't want it to be publicly available, then there'll be a password to access different galleries and things like that that are shared. Read only, again, there's a bunch of different stuff in here that I encourage you to go through and take a look at and figure out which of these settings work best for your needs. You can actually, if you don't want to run a MySQL database, you can run this in SQLite. However, if you're going to have a big photo backup or collection of photos and media, I would advise against using an SQLite just because it's not going to be able to handle large lookups or lookups in a large database as quickly as running a MySQL or a Maria database. Sorry, stumbled there. So that's what we're going to use here, MySQL Maria database. And if we scroll down, we can see that we've got some information here for the database name, the user, the password. I encourage you to change these if you're going to make this accessible to the internet or whatever, but just make sure that when you do change them, that you change them both here as well as in the next area where we're going to have another container for that database. You want to make sure that everything lines up well there. The next thing we'll want to do here is make sure that we change the site URL to whatever the URL is going to be where we're going to access this. So if you're going to make this accessible on a domain name, put that domain name here. If it's going to be on a local IP like mine's going to be, put that right here. So we'll say 190.9.2.168.1.133, like so. That's where we're going to be. And then we can change the title, we can change the site caption, we can change all of that information if we want to. If you need to, depending on your system, you may want to add the PUID and PGID here. Mine is going to be 998 and 100. UMask, is usually, you'd want that to be like 022. Now, these are all optional. You won't need to necessarily do this, but you could. You can set volumes for where you'd like your pictures to be. You can mount things for specific folders, subfolders, mounting for imports, things like that. You can do all of that right there with just by uncommenting any of these lines as necessary. We're not going to do that here though, but you could mount multiple folders to have access to multiple bits of data for photos and videos, things like that. Below that, again, we've got the Maria database container that we're going to use for this. And again, if you change any of the options up for the database name, password, things like that, you'll want to make sure that you change those down here as well as the root password. Right there, it just says very plainly, please change. Again, I'm not going to do that for this video, but definitely do that for what you're doing. And then if you want to, you can also install Watchtower here that will automatically update this. We'll check for updates every 2 hours. I'm not a big fan of doing that. I think it's a bad practice to just let software update itself if you're not going through and doing your due diligence to see, are those updates necessary? Could they possibly break something? How will I be affected before I apply this update? So I advise against using Watchtower, but if you must, and go right ahead. That said, though, that pretty much takes care of everything in this docker compose.yml file. Actually, there's one more thing I did want to check now that I'm thinking about it. I thought maybe there was something else in here about a URL, but there's not. Oh, you can also change the volumes again on the database where you'd like those things to be stored. I'm just going to leave everything as it is. I'm on a fresh install of Linux here, or Open Media Vault. So I'm going to do Control-O and enter to save, and then Control-X to exit, get me back to my terminal screen here. And I'll just do docker compose up. You can run this. Let's see what it actually says. Sometimes it will tell you if you need to add the -d. So I'll just copy that and come back over to here, and then just right click and hit enter. So now it's going to go through the process of pulling all of the images and everything that it needs to pull. Once it's done that, it will create networks and containers and all of that kind of stuff. And then once that's done, we're going to jump into Portainer, as well as open up a link to this system that isn't going to work yet, but we're going to keep it open because eventually it will. Okay, so now it's finished. It's created both of our containers. Both of those said that they're done. So now we can jump over to here, jump into Portainer, and we're going to go into here. Oops. And get logged in first, I suppose. And then we can come over to here, go to our containers, and here we can see that we've got PhotoPrism and Maria database up and running here. And we can see that we've got our ports there. And if we jump over, it's not going to work. That's fine. We're actually going to leave that open for right now. We're also going to take a look at the logs of both of these. Here we can see this is for the Maria database. And right now it's going through a setup process and importing everything that it needs to import. Right here, it looks like it's doing something. That should be fine. We're going to go ahead and let that hang out. And hopefully here in a few moments, this page should automatically reload and we should get into our application.
A few moments later.
So while that's doing its thing, I did want to jump back over to here. Right here, we can see that PhotoPrism is starting. So hopefully here very shortly, there we go. It's doing some more stuff. Hopefully here very soon. There we go. Now we can get logged in. So it does take a few minutes for that to process. This is kind of a resource intensive application. They actually recommend about 4 gigs of RAM for this. Maybe I should have mentioned that earlier. I apologize. But so now we can get logged in. The default password is insecure. And here we are. This is completely empty. Down here, we've got a context menu where we can archive things, add to album, download, change private flag, edit things, that sort of stuff. So let's come over to albums. Can't find anything. So let's go over to my pictures. And I tell you what, let's just grab some pictures of me here, like that. And we'll just drag those over. Nope, that wasn't right at all. Oh, let's choose up here. There we go. Wonder if can I drag from here? Does not look like you can drag from there either. So you will have to click the upload button. And then if you go back over here to wherever you want your pictures, we'll scroll down until we get to me again. Yep. Let's go to there and then undo that and open. So now we've gone ahead, we've uploaded some pictures here. It's going through its upload process where it's going to resize the pictures as necessary. Let's come over here to search. Okay, so I'm actually glad that I did this because I've got some error logs down here that I wanted you to see. Basically, we can see that import failed, creating folder, permission denied, over and over and over and over and over again. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come back over to here. I'm going to go to my containers. I'm actually going to delete both of these, like so. Yep, and remove, do all of that. And then we're going to jump back into here. We're going to docker compose edit. So we're going to come down to here. And I should not have messed with the UID and GID here or the mask. So we're going to leave all of that out. Then we're going to do Control O, enter, Control X to exit. We're going to do an ls just to see. All right, so I'm going to do an rm, rf, database, enter. Then I'm going to do pictures, and then I'm going to do storage, like so. So that way, all we've got left in here is our Docker Compose file, and then we'll just come back up and we'll run that again. So again, it's going to go through this process of creating the database, creating the application itself in some containers. And then next thing that's going to happen is this is going to be working. We're not going to go way through anymore. So 1, 2, 3, go. All right, so now we're back as we want to be. So we're going to type in secure again. Hopefully I did that right. All right, so then let's, oops, nope, not that one. So let's try to upload a picture here. So we're going to come up here to the top. We're going to click upload. We're going to click upload again. I'm just going to grab one picture here this time. Where'd I go? There I am. Uploading photos, moving files. Say, that time it says import was complete or upload was complete. Let's go to folders. There it is. So be careful if you do modify your GUID or your GID and your UID, make sure that they're correct. Same thing with the UMask set. There may have been an extra 0 that I needed in that UMask, but just know that if you mess with that configuration file and mess it up, things won't work. So just something to be careful of there. Now, that is PhotoPrism in a nutshell. It's super easy to set up and use and administer all of that sort of thing, except there's one little thing that I really want to talk about here that really bothers me. And that is, if I come over here to go to settings, and right here, if I want to enable the ability to delete photos, this is an early access feature right now to say thanks to our sponsors and contributors. We'll let you know how to enable it when you sign up on Patreon or GitHub sponsors. So in order to be able to delete your photos, at least for right now, again, like it says, this is an early access feature, but for right now, if you want to delete photos, you're going to have to go sponsor them on either GitHub or Patreon in order to find out how to activate that. I haven't done that yet. I should, but again, definitely go support them if you want to do that. So I think that kind of wraps up what I wanted to talk about in this video. Again, super easy to set up, very cool features, very easy to use. So definitely worth a look if you're looking for some way, maybe some way to replace Google Photos as an example. So hopefully this video is helpful. Again, everything will be available in the description down below, so definitely check that out. There are some ways down there that you can support me as well if you want to do that. Of course, no obligation to do any of that, but links will be down there if you want to do that anyway. But I think with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. As always, thanks for your time. I always appreciate your support, and I'll talk to you in the next video.